You're just in time. Saved you a seat for the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self improvement. Speaking of self improvement, guys who even dare to call themselves self improvers nowadays, really, you want to talk about the last of a dying breed? Not many of us left, at least willing to openly admit it in public. Okay. When was the last time you found yourself going up to, I don't know, whoever, family, coworkers, friends, just other human beings in general, and, you know, going for that icebreaker, super spicy conversation starter? Yeah, do a 9 to 5, got my own place, life is good, and I spend most of my time actively improving myself. It is it is quite the rarity. Yes, that's what I'm calling you, bro. Especially if you're on the internet looking for self-improvement content in general, trying to stimulate, thoughts, ideas, plans, actions at creating a better life for yourself. And you somehow stumbled here at the Pillars of Man. Okay, well, wonderful. You're in a great place. Considering what you could have done instead, it's become too normalized at how readily available and instantly accessible it is to do anything, everything with all the free time you have at leisure, pleasure, relaxation, just activities designed as time sinks. You're able to, engage with all manner of virtual destinations via the internet. We are here. You are in the future now, bro. It's so crazy to think, you know, you could say, I mean, hey, we all have autonomy. We're all grown but men, our own adults, and we can make the decisions that we deem, you know, is the one that's of our best interest in that moment. Okay, if you are operating on free time, then it's quite obvious. It's a no-brainer. Any man would kind of default. He would immediately plunge himself into something enjoyable because the highlight right here is that you're free. You However much time you get back every single week. What is this? One, no more than 2 days off. Okay. You probably have a little bit on a daily basis, but I would argue most of that is probably being, funneled into survival, which is awesome. Can't complain for the utilities, the clothes on your back, food, water, okay, just all the basic necessities. You can't forget the Wi-Fi bill that you would need to live the life you currently are. Okay. So now, how much time are you getting back every week, bro? If it's no more than 1-2 days, okay. In this world, especially present day, modern America, 2025, it's really hard to even conceive, to even think of using that free time for anything else than your favorite activities. Your hobbies, your interests. Hey, bro, whatever you get up to behind closed doors in order to unwind, unplug, relax. And I want to specifically say this right here: get away from the problems of survival. That has to be the goal. I don't know in terms of, you know, your wildest dreams and your craziest outcomes and that vision you have for this perfect life, right? That you can see down to the bitter detail when you sleep or when you daydream. But most importantly, it rests in your mind, in your own imagination. Okay, to bring that out here into reality for yourself, that seems impossible. That seems absolutely insane, actually. And on top of that, you're really only able to do it with free time. I mean, okay, you want to talk about a rigged game? As if in the modern world everything is set up in a way to make doing exactly that. And okay, I'm making it sound really simple, but I mean it is. I mean, you're thinking of something in here. You are imagining it. Okay, the clearer the better. And whatever you are envisioning, you are trying to transition that into your reality. Logically, or you know, or maybe an alien eavesdropping on this conversation right now, learning about human beings for the first time. Yeah, I mean, that right there actually sounds pretty cool. That's crazy in and of itself. That just whatever your brain can come up with. I mean, what are these? So, this is a big, kind of squishy mass sitting inside your skull with some electrical signals going on. And okay, we got some neurons firing, and from that, you are giving birth to the greatest life you could possibly live, and then trying to do it in that little bit of time you get back every single week when you are not on someone else's clock, when you don't there's just no obligation. You don't belong to an institution, a corporation, a company, or a boss, or even your own business. Though I have heard this: business owners, if you're an entrepreneur or you own or anything like that, you're never off the clock, right? Because you are head honcho, the boss. Self improvement is not too different. It's a man being called to own his own reality. Okay? I love to say to be king of your own life. Okay? That you would rule over it, which really just means you're going to take the responsibility in controlling everything that you're able to. That might not be much. Okay, I mean, you work all day, at least 8 hours. Okay, and you get back. Okay, we got shower, pooping, eating. Okay, but putting your feet up so they can rest. Yet it is at the very same time during these hours a man has to utilize to create something that you want more than how you already live. You have to get here first. I'm not so sure self improvement can work in any other way. Is you know, you're going to find motivation to get into it very difficult to come by. Yeah, igniting those sparks of like, okay, I will try so hard today because it's a day off. And it's the only time I'm able to get back and live my finest life. So, as you can see, with how things are going on today, you take a very quick glance around yourself in life, wherever you live, at your workplace. Okay, when you hit up your favorite spots. Okay, just if you're a people watcher in general, not like creepy just when you see. Okay, when you run into strangers going about the events of your own life, you notice everyone is so stressed out, so burdened by making ends meet, okay? Just ensuring that they are able to survive and at that, survive as comfortably as possible. That takes up, you know, I mean, what, as soon as you become an adult, okay? And I'll just stick to home, being an American. So here in the US, I mean, pretty much after 18, oh, you're in it full time, at least. Okay. University route, same thing, but it's just, with books and learning. You, as a human being, just like that, K through 12 almost happens in the blink of an eye. Obviously, it doesn't feel like that when you're in it, but after it's over, you look back like, how did it go by that fast? As they say, the real world begins. And then a man steps in to his big boy shoes. Okay, got your ID now. Okay, license, and all right, there it is. You're off. You're off to the races. All day, every single day, grinding to ensure you got lights, the internet, and food and clothes. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of room left to then work on yourself, to then self improve. Okay, with the four, and I say these are the four original pillars of man: your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. To work on these to the point that you are as successful as you could possibly see yourself as. Okay. Yeah, tons of people would say, "Oh, you got to be super optimistic for this. You got to be quite the dreamer." Okay. you, you have to at least be somewhat happy or joyous. Okay, I would disagree. I would say, change is due. You know that your life as you live it right now is not the one you truly want, because as it continues to happen to you on this loop, 24-hour intervals. I mean, technically, what I'm assuming, do you sleep? Okay, you should definitely try and do your best to sleep. Sleep's one of the best things for us as humans. And I would say get your 8 hours. And if you are, okay, then you're really working with 16. Okay, so this is 16 hours of waking consciousness. And that's it. That's all you get. No. I'm not saying you're experiencing your last day. It's just the way live your life. It's just one at a time. Okay, of these 16-hour windows. And you go again and again and again. You'll notice very quickly. I really do believe any man would. If you're not enjoying it, okay, and the same thing is happening over and over and over, and if anything, it seems like it's getting worse. It's just like, I don't even want to be here. This is crazy. Not able to enjoy any of it. I feel so numb to it. I'm kind of forced to sedate myself. Okay, in whatever manner. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be vice, though, of course. I mean, maybe this is really all throughout human history. Vice has been so popular. All right. Okay. The drink, the substance, whatever the vice is. So much of it now has transformed into the digital. Well, with the era of the World Wide Web and everything that has become, and whatever you're able, the capabilities that any man has, if you have a screen and an active connection, is pretty mind-boggling to think about. And it sure as heck is a lot easier to type something in, press enter, strap on a nice pair of headphones, and just stay there for as long as possible. Until you have to do exactly what? Reset. You go right back in it. Right back to however you survive. Now I did say, I mean, that's a wonderful thing, but if you are going to even bother with any kind of self-improvement, you don't even really have to call it this. I mean, if you want to try to live a better life, then that would technically also be self-improvement. It's just, okay, for content's sake, this is what I call it here at this podcast. You deserve to be able to enjoy your survival. As both a man and a human being, if you knew, if I told you for a fact you could create a completely different lifestyle that is geared towards maximum enjoyment, not because it is pleasurable and not because it feels good and not because it is comfortable, but because no matter how difficult and challenging it, okay, downright scary it would be to become your best version, to live the very best quality of your life, that you would, okay, without a doubt, that you would have the best time of your life doing exactly that. That That is possible. That needs to be the definitive, ultimate goal for any man. And I have a hunch many would be able to relate to this. Any man who is just not really having a good time right now. I know. I know how I'm making this sound. I mean, if it were that easy, if it were that simple, every again, let me just use America. Every modern male, American modern male human being would be a self-improver. Okay? Just like that. If it were, really that 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 much of a breeze. Okay. I feel that. It's just my argument is that if you don't, and you just continue to allow yourself to be subjected to how miserable the current trajectory of a man's life could make him. That's so it's even harder. It becomes harder when you realize you're it. You are the solution. You're all of it, bro. Okay, in this way, no one, I believe, not a soul. Okay, but your parents, lover, partner, best friend, okay, mentor, boss. It just no other human being will truly be able to push you into that direction, force you to. All right, help you make this decision for you. It has to be you. And that's why I'm saying, you know, if you don't enjoy the way you're living your life right now, that is the biggest indicator right there, which is why I say any man that feels so sad, depressed, okay, out of whack, very low energy, anxious, apathetic, anhedonic, just maybe even addicted. I'm so chronic in repeating bad habits, in enjoying what I know to be junk as in it doesn't give back to you. Okay, and say, hey, okay, some of this stuff tastes great. Junk food, okay. Some of this content, some of this material, okay. You know what? I'll say it. It is really fun to watch. All right, very very enjoyable for stimulation, for Sights and sounds you're not going to find anywhere else. Okay. If you know, you know. And I'm pretty sure you do, bro. Exactly what I mean. You can find, okay, whatever you like nowadays on the internet. Okay. However you want it for as long as you do. Okay. I mean, it's an all you can eat buffet. All right, as whatever you can think of for your fingers to type in and continually pressing enter and searching out these videos, these streams, all this content, it's endless, infinite scrolling. Okay, the feeds, they just keep on going. They don't stop until you say so. And that's where it gets so dangerous, I believe. Where a man, he thinks to himself, I have no reason to stop. I have no reason to get up and leave and go anywhere else besides, these four walls. That's how bad that's how bad it's gotten. And I empathize. All right? I mean, today's world is a bit wacky. Okay? Especially all these recent pretty, I'll say, radical shifts in the culture, okay, towards the male image. How about I use that buzzword on the internet, the masculine image? Wow. Okay. To the point where you don't even have to be one anymore. Okay. Right? What's the actual term? The fluidity of it. You can be whatever you want. I mean, honestly, I am not trying to sit here to debate that. I don't believe I'm qualified to. Really, I'm just talking to, okay, a fellow king who understands that, yup, he's a dude. And not only that, but he's a dude who wants his very best life. That desire is wonderful. That's an absolutely awesome want to have in life. It's the great propeller, the launch pad, so to speak, for any guy to really do something awesome with himself. And I'm not, hey, look, bro, I'm not even talking about getting super famous or getting super jacked or I don't know, just whatever. Okay, to be some kind of social media influencer. I know, especially with how I look right now, I get it. But you set aside the fame and the prestige and the status and being that big ballin' boss, okay, and uh, having everyone the maximum amount of aura, as the youngins say nowadays, okay, commanding all the respect when you enter a room. No, it could be. I mean, honestly, not even anything I just said. These pursuits are not half bad. Okay, in the right way, I would say even healthy for any man to, you know, want to bring out of himself, to want to invest towards. But ultimately, what it's really about is I need you to picture this to the best of your ability. Maybe you already can, because you've known for a long time now what you've always wanted to do. You've just really never been able to really fully plunge into it and give yourself that opportunity to try. How you know that you really need to is when you're not able to simply just wake up for any given day. When I say any, I really, really mean any day off or not, any day of the week, any day in your life where you wake up as you. Okay, this is that true goal. I believe we are all headed towards in our own unique and individual way as the final frontier. I should say the final front line of men willing to fight for the very best versions of themselves, self-improvers. That is ultimately to have a life where you can just open your eyes. Remember, it's just remember it's just rotating or revolving windows of time. 16 hours of waking consciousness. Wake, sleep, wake, sleep, wake, sleep, wake, sleep, again and again and again. And none of us even get to know how many of those you get. You know, it's just we just know for certainty, for a fact, that sooner or later you sleep and you don't wake. That's the ideal. That's the smoothest, most effortless, most painless way to go any of us can imagine for, maybe I should say, too many human beings. It does not end like that, but that's okay. That's nothing to worry about right now. Okay? What is to be worried about is that the next one you do get, how about the one you had today? Okay? All right. Tomorrow is getting kind of a bit demonized, right? You know, don't procrastinate, don't wait. Okay, right now is the best time to start. I do believe in all of that. But if you're on the tail end of your day, I'm on mine, then I think it's a very safe assumption to make. Like, no, just seriously, bro, don't freak out. You're gonna be fine. You'll be here. You'll be around for tomorrow. But could you imagine though, going into that and waking up to tomorrow, just thinking to yourself, wow, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be packed with, it's going to be, my morning's going to be like this. And then my afternoon's going to be like this. And then my evening's going to be like that. But to want to be excited to go through all of it, to say to yourself, I can't wait. This is super dope. I'm grateful. I'm blessed that this is the human experience I get to call my life. There are way too many men that are not able to say that right now, that have never been able to say that for their entire lives. And tragically, this one's probably this one is the darkest one, is that so many will never be able to say that for as long as they live. Whether the next half a year or the next half a century. And that, I'm not saying self-improvement is the all-encompassing answer. Oh, it'll solve all of your life's problems. But good Lord, self-improvement is absolutely a wonderful start. Because it's just you, it's you picking yourself up. I know how cliche that sounds. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Kumo's just saying, man up. Okay. I am. But it's because you're not the only one that goes up. Everything else does as well. It just comes down to what you want it to be. Your health, your finances, your relationships, your quality of life, how joyous you can feel, how purposeful you are, how fulfilled what you do with your time feels. All of that can go up. It isn't just the man. That's where it starts. It has to, brother. It has to begin with you wanting to. And it's difficult for me to, argue against or just, personally imagine any other objective or mission, pursuit, endeavor that would be greater than this. I mean, life is short. We all know this. It's way too short. Okay, the statistical average, I think, is correct me if I'm wrong. please feel free to leave these down in the comments below, or really whatever else, any thoughts. This conversation is stimulating tonight. I'm very curious, and I will read all of them. It's just guys thinking to themselves, I mean, what else is out there? Could my life really be that much happier? The things that I really want, okay, loving, loyal partner, my own family, a house to call my own, and a job I don't hate. Okay, we can do better than that. A job I absolutely love. This is actually what I want to do. This is what resonates with me. Your mind, your heart, your soul, all of you. It's how you would craft a new reality that experiencing allows you to basically, I know how corny this sounds, living a life of no regrets. But it's really hard, really, really difficult to regret every single day that you're happy to live. You want to. If there was some sort of, the number one man killer, the the greatest toxin, okay, that is developed out of all of this modern innovation and abundance, okay, and progress, so to speak, is that, men, or I should say, bringing it back down to the individual, any man who would lose that zeal, okay, that passion to go out and do, just stuff, all sorts of things. The journey goes even further inwards than it does outwards. Because until you get it right in here, brother, it's very difficult to get it right anywhere else. That's where the change has to happen first. But again, you're due when everything you already do is so difficult to enjoy. I mean, I've been there. I'm still there from time to time. We are all only, human at the end of the day. Even if you are a self-proclaimed self-improver, okay, especially on the internet of all places. But hey, okay, all right, is what I show up to do. And doesn't it feel so strange, bro? It's a really weird feeling because so you've been here many times. You sat here and you've done this thing before, whatever it is. You know how good it feels. What it's going to give you. You probably even know it like the back of your hand, just in terms of like, oh, what's going to happen? What am I doing? What's going on here? What how does this work? Yeah, no. For so many guys, it's been years and years and years and years. I'm not saying there's even anything wrong with that. I mean, there absolutely could be, depending on what is done. But that's the thing, though. That's not my point. My point is, it doesn't make any sense. You're living your life in a way where, whenever you have free time, you're doing what you enjoy. Okay, well, isn't that so funny? If you cannot enjoy it, this takes a very raw sense and almost ruthless honesty with yourself, because it gets brutal. Okay, because you can't, right? No excuses. You cannot allow yourself to be in denial. Okay, when you are abiding by the truth of how you really feel about where your life is headed, and if it's negative in any way, that is a, that's a good enough as any indication you need to try something else. You need to change it up. You need to do something else with yourself, bro. Self-improvement is, the beginning of it, this process. Where it can take you, it's literally unfathomable. You can try to predict, you can try to plan. Of course, you should. No, any man should have, a plan of action and all of that. But I'm talking about where it takes you. Okay, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I mean, who knows? It almost kind of brings this spice, this excitement back to life itself, because it's no longer predictable. It's no longer, I know exactly what this is going to do for me. And it feels so good for, I don't know, a total of a few seconds. Okay, maybe not that one. But I mean, these other ones, they don't last really that long either. It's a vicious cycle. Okay. All right. The hit, the high, the fall, and repeat. And somewhere in between that, your job, surviving, getting by, making ends meet. But then after that, that's all there is. We're all supposed to, after hitting that milestone, the big 1-8, after that, all the way until you're old and gray. Okay. That's when you're expected to truly begin living. I mean, it's kind of backwards if you think about it. All right. I mean, oh, hey, no hate. All right. Anyone that went that route, okay, worked really hard to enjoy the rest of their lives beginning at 65. No, I mean, not knocking it, not knocking it at all. But if there were a way to optimize even further for the modern man, if throughout his 20s, his 30s, his 40s, his 50s, he could enjoy it just as much as retirement, if not more, how would you do that? You would have to somehow fuse what you already do to survive, to make it in this world, with something that you care about. That means something to you, bro. This matters to you. You really truly care about this thing. And that's good enough. It doesn't harm you. It doesn't harm anyone else. It is worth pursuing. Because I believe, because it is so valuable to you, it is possible. It is possible to formulate that in a way. And of course, this is going to come down to your process, how much you learn, the angle at which you take, okay, the brand, the business, the idea, okay, whatever you run with. But you can bring this value to other people. You do that, everything else kind of falls into place. You give yourself that honest shot, bro, to get out there and do it big, real extra big. It's a good way to live your life. I mean, it's such a double-edged sword. Technological abundance today is at a point of, these are just modern marvels. I'm talking jaw dropped on the floor. We were all just in awe of how fast, okay, of how precise, okay, what AI is able to do. And to the best of my understanding, is it, are we, I'm not too well versed on our current artificial intelligence timeline, but isn't it kind of still just a baby right now? Okay, I'm talking about what it could be, what it will be in a decade. What is that, 2035, in a couple decades, 2045. All right. On average, whoever I'm looking at right now, bro, you still gonna be around. I think I'll still be. I hope I am, but I should. I should, right? Okay. Unless something takes me out, and you and me are both gonna be around to see what the heck that's gonna be like. Who knows? Okay. All right. Throw your tinfoil hat on. come up with your best conspiracy theory. Again, that's probably, leave that in the comments down below if you want to say anything. Okay, conspiracy theories are always interesting to hear about from other people's their own hot takes. But I just want you to know that you can. Yeah, absolutely. I know it seems like a whole lot of hard work. Okay, it seems like more burden, more suffering, more misery than you already have right now. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of being able to, with what little free time you have every week, that's the whole point of using that to forget about why the majority of it sucks, which is so crazy to think. I think the older generations, they come from a pretty different world, pretty drastically different society, especially when you're talking about before the age of the internet, okay? Before www dot was a thing. Then I can empathize and kind of put myself in those shoes. Well, what do you mean? Life is work. You're supposed to work. Work a grind away for the rest of your life. You know what? I'm with it. Okay, call me a boomer. Okay, I'm not. Okay, I mean, do I look like one? I hope not. Not yet. But in this way, the boomers are really just older generations. Okay, I'll be specific. Older as in past, older than millennials. So millennials, Zoomers, alphas. These are the younger generations of today. But I'm still with that whole, yeah, okay, yep. Work is most of life. And I say that because your process, the grind, what you chase and what you pursue, that will be most of your life. And I think guys they're caught in this lie, in this very, I'll bet, tempting, okay, alluring, all right, depending on what you're looking up on the internet. Okay, this is quite stimulating, but it is deceptive nonetheless. It is illusory because I believe it shrouds the truth. And that truth is that it should not be separated. It really shouldn't be. Maybe it has to be. I mean, that's a pretty individual, unique situation to work with. But let the goal, let the result, let the outcome you're working towards, you're chasing in life, it would have to be the fusion of what you do for a living is exactly how you want to live. I believe self-improvement is taking the time to understand yourself, to, you gotta, all right, dive in. No hesitation. The attempt is everything, because you absolutely do have to try. You gotta show up and try for yourself. I'm gonna try to learn this thing. I'm gonna try to do this thing, try to do this exercise, get into this workout. I want to try to, I have to practice my socialization skills. I want to be more charismatic. I want to be able to form deeper connections with people, make friends, bond with people, find the queen, all right, to match you on your throne as king, and all of that. And usually when that happens, and then you got all the little, you got the little baby princes and princesses start popping up all over the place. There it is, brother. You are a family man. That's it. That's if you want that in life. Any man that does, well, then he's going to be. It's a no-brainer. You all just like that. All of a sudden, it becomes in your best interest immediately to look for the best way to go about your daily reality. That's not so. That right there is not just going to fall on your lap. That's something a man must seek, search, find. Okay. In this way, the good news is that you are living in a time period right now where it's never been easier to do exactly that. In your free time, okay, a Google search, all right, a YouTube search, okay, it's brother, it's not even like that anymore. Yo, pull up the Chat GPT. Just ask it. I said him. Just ask the AI. Just be like, okay, what's going on here? Tell me about this. Okay, very specific question, very personal question, and it will give you, a pretty good answer. I I used to be pretty on the fence, but nowadays I use it all the time. And okay, since I do, some of these questions I ask about myself on a much more personal level of okay, I'm trying to really figure out this solution because I want that better quality for myself. That you are we are in the future, and it really eliminates any and all excuse in this way to not know, to not have any kind of direction, no plan whatsoever, when you really can just type it in nowadays and it'll be pulled up for you depending on what you're trying to get into, how much time you have, what you're willing to learn, what you need to learn, and oh, there it goes. And the process begins to cascade. Okay, and you go, bro, and you go one step at a time. Okay, never forget what you are doing this for. It is to get as far away as possible from how you're living right now. If you're not able to enjoy it. That's most guys, though. I really do believe this. Okay, I mean, on the surface, right? The hey, what's up, man? Okay, like, how's it going? How you doing? How's everything been? Yeah, not bad. Okay, right? Oh yeah, good. Yeah, can't complain, as a lot of guys say. What's the truth, though? What's really going on underneath all of that? Okay, what's bubbling under the surface? A lot of it is bitterness, resentment. Just the failure to look forward to more of life. A lot of guys nowadays living as if, is it over yet? Is it over yet? And that right there, that's a tragedy. Not because I said so, okay? Not because even God Himself, all right, the Almighty up above, looking down, and His Son's like, "What? I made you guys in my image. What are you guys doing?" No, not even those vibes. Then it's for Himself, okay? My King is for you. It's so that you're able to wake up to better experiences every single day. That is what the work is for. Okay. So many guys, they're looking at this. They're looking at this like, I mean, hey, what do you ask me to give up though? I love doing what I do. You know, yeah, it pays the bills and it gives me just enough, a little bit extra to indulge, to partake, to use, and whatever else. All these, you know, uh, different activities in the modern world. Okay, most of them being virtual, that a man could enjoy for endlessly, over and over and over for the rest of his life. Guys are saying, why? Why am I going to sacrifice this for hard work, for the unknown, for chasing this crazy process? Okay, like this guy on his Pillars of Man podcast, and he's trying to convince other dudes to self-improve. I mean, am I saying that all men could benefit from self-improvement? Absolutely. Yeah, of course I am saying that, because until you reach, okay, maybe the pinnacle of existence, the peak human experience, which is, I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I wouldn't want to do this any other way. I get to see who I am. I get to see why I was born. I get to see how far I can take it. What I was meant for. That kind of life. I think it is light years apart from maybe the more typical lifestyle that, all of us, me, you, really, any other guy, okay, that is struggling in his process is used to living. The games, substances, okay, the parties, right, the usual spots, okay, all right, that routine, so many of us as men, creatures of habit. All right. It's always this time. My days off are usually like this. Evenings are the only time I get back. I've worked all day. My feet are up. Don't bother me. Phone's on. Do not disturb. Okay. I'm not taking any other responsibilities. That's not fair to me. And I understand. No, I get this kind of thinking. It's just, remember now, bro, it's even more unfair when you are doing exactly that. You are already living like that and you're dying inside. You still feel empty. It's still, why is my life like this? Okay, please see. Please, if you take nothing else away from tonight's episode, please see this disconnect right here. That does not make any sense whatsoever. Might even be the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting a different result. It cannot. It cannot. At that point, the only thing that could really give that to you is change. Okay. In this way, change is so good. It isn't, it's always resisted. It's feared. It's, disliked, hated, frowned upon. Okay. I mean, human beings, especially dudes like us, stubborn in general. I've had it like this for so many years. I've done it like this for decades. Why? Why would I change now? Why would I do anything differently now? What? Because I can't smile anymore? Okay, because whatever, the loneliness, the depression, the dependency, the addiction, the chronic usage of whatever. That's why. So what? A lot of guys get here, and it's such a dangerous spot to be. So what? So what is almost a surrendering, a forfeiting of all possibility of anything that could be, that you could have. It's sacrificed. So that nothing changes, so that everything can stay the same exactly as it is right now. And that is the great dilemma. Okay? That is the you want to talk about an ultimate problem. Existential crisis, midlife. Oh my goodness. Whenever. Okay? It's of all ages at this point. I would say the younger the worse. Okay? I say this because the younger, the more familiar, that male would be with the ways of the internet. Okay? And what it can do for him, to numb him and help distract him from the pain of creating his best reality. Make no mistake, brother. Pain or no pain, and however you want to look at it. I mean, honestly, my personal take is, of course, it's going to hurt a whole lot, but it's good though. It's so good because it is that struggle that makes you better. There's no other way to get stronger, smarter, wiser. Okay, to build to the point where life can be as sweet as you imagine it to be, as you dream of it to be. All right. So, bro, if you like content like this and you're looking for a place to come back to chill, vibe, and hear really anything and everything that goes into male self-improvement, hit that subscribe button for me. And I really hope to see you soon for the next one, because you're watching the Pillars of Man podcast, your number one show for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self-improvement surrounding philosophy, masculinity, wellness, lifestyle. As yours truly, the host, Kumo, continues to attempt to reshape the modern male reality, giving any man who wishes to pull the very best out of himself a way to do that. Thanks so much for watching, bro. Thanks so much for being here, and have a great rest of your night. Hope to catch you real soon. Until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. I love you so much. Peace.